Hey, welcome back to the Sporting Tribune today. And I get excited when I get a chance to be able to talk about some wrestling. And that is exactly what we're going to do. I'm also excited because I've been a lifelong fan of the man joining us right now, Al Snow, joining us on behalf of not only the legendary OVW, but Netflix as well. This is debuting on a Friday, which means it's already out on Netflix. Get to it, a 7-part docu-series that goes behind the scenes of the legendary OVW from the people that made shows like Last Chance U and Cheer. So with all that being said, first off, Al, thank you so much for joining us. I told you before we started the interview that I'm on the road. I'm actually on vacation for my son's birthday at Disney
Oh,
World.
hey,
And I
well,
need
have
to
a great
know,
time.
yeah, no, thank you. But I do need to ask you, like, has Al Snow
Yeah.
been to Disney? Is he a fan of
Oh,
Disney?
yeah. Come on. Of course, I am a professional roller coaster rider. I love Disney. I love Universal Studios. If you get to Ohio, Cedar Point is amazing. Kings Island's incredible. Indiana, in Santa Claus, Indiana, we've got Holiday World. They've got an amazing wooden roller coaster. When it was first debuted, it was the longest, fastest, steepest, most airtime wooden roller coaster in the world at Holiday World. So yeah, I'm a big fan of amusement parks.
I also kind of feel like a doofus because I asked you if you like Disney. Like, I don't see Spider-Man and Captain America literally right behind you. And I'm from
Yeah.
Cleveland. So thank you for saying the Cedar Point. That made me
Oh
pop.
yeah.
I do have to ask, what's a day at Disney without snow like? Like, first off, I guess what's your favorite Disney character?
Oh my. Back when I was a kid, it was Donald Duck. As
Classic.
you get older, you realize you can't really wear Donald Duck as a Halloween costume. That people at the rest of the people at the party kind of get offended. So
Yeah. There it is. We'll get back to Disney in a second, but now let's talk about some wrestling. Um,
sure.
I said in the intro, OVW is legendary. I'm a Midwest boy.
Yeah.
Um, and when we're talking about legends, we're talking John Cena, Randy Orton, Brock Lesnar. That's just to name a few. There's plenty
Yeah.
others. For those that aren't steep into the wrestling knowledge like myself, I guess we'll start here. If you could explain what exactly OVW is and some of its history.
Sure. Danny Davis, Nightmare Danny Davis, was a professional wrestler for many years, and he started OVW, or Ohio Valley Wrestling, which is located, in the Louisville area. We're in the Ohio River Valley area, so that's why it was called Ohio Valley Wrestling. He started back in like 1993, and he it started without any affiliations or anything of that kind of type. Truly just an independent operation. Through Jim Cornette and the relationship that Danny had with Jim Cornette and Jim Ross, they created like a farm team, you could say, like a developmental system for WWE that allowed prospective talent to have a place to come learn, get polished, get experience, and then when they would debut on the main roster, they were primed and ready to go to be an attraction for WWE. And OVW was very successful for many years doing that, and was responsible for not just Brock Lesnar and John Cena and Batista and Randy Orton. I mean, those were the ones that really stand out, but I mean, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, the list would probably have about maybe nearly 200 alumni that have went on to do significant things in wrestling and be a part of the main roster of WWE, and a large majority of those, being significant as far as being involved in WrestleMania, if not headlining WrestleMania. So we've had a very long and illustrious history. WWE ceased its relationship with OVW several years ago. Um, and I was involved at that time as the head of the developmental program and training and with OVW. And then when the WWE ceased its relationship, I left, but I returned with Impact Wrestling when I was an executive, and with help of Bruce Pritchard, we created Impact's developmental program, and it was right up the road from Nashville, and it was a no-brainer to, have the partnership again with OVW. And I came back, had another opportunity to, spend time and train and develop young talent. And then that relationship ended, and so did mine with OVW. And then in 2018, somehow I'm still befuddled, but somehow I ended up with a couple partners buying OVW and starting out on this amazing adventure again. So
Yeah, and no, it's been incredible. And this opportunity, when I first saw the trailer, I was very excited. I was like, "Yo, this is awesome! It couldn't be done with a better." And just you just went down the history of OVW and to kind of get an inside look. I guess my question to you, as someone who has been in the business throughout so many of these eras, where
yes,
now it just seems like anything that happens backstage is an article on some sort of site. For you, when you were first approached to be like, "Look, they want to cover this and they're not just a couple cameras at a show, like this is behind the scenes." Was
yeah.
that a difficult thing, or was it more like, no, open the doors and come and see how the cake is made?
No, no, it wasn't just, hey, come on in. No, I was pretty, I was pretty reticent. You know, what I mean, I was pretty, I was like really questioning and really wondering, if this should be done. My contention has always been, no matter what it is, the more familiar you are with something, the more contemptuous you become of it. And it's. I've said this on a couple other interviews. To me, pulling back the curtain, I know everybody wants that, but if you've ever watched, which who hasn't, The Wizard of Oz, the entire movie is magic and it's colorful and there's no limits to it until you pull the curtain back and you find out there's this short, stubby old man, pulling twisting dials and pushing buttons and pulling chains, and that's all it really was just a sham. It took all the magic away, and I was reluctant to do that. But then I've had my experience on Tough Enough, that was similar, but not exactly the same, and certainly not nearly as open as we were here, and to the degree that we were. Um, but it was still a good eye-opening experience, and it made me realize that an opportunity like this only comes around one time in life, to where you can have a chance to, if you're a wrestling fan, it's my hope that it will really help you to have more appreciation and respect for just really how challenging it is to be a professional wrestler, even on any level. And allow everyone, even if you're not a wrestling fan, to see these people coming to grips with a dream, and then the reality of what it is they have to do to achieve it. And for those that have never watched wrestling, I'm hoping that maybe this might create an interest and expand the audience, and for the not just OVW, but for the business as a whole. Um, and it's my hope too that by opening up like this, maybe it ceases this ridiculous trope of, oh, you watch wrestling, that's fake, or oh, that's just for lowbrow entertainment, when it's been my experience that there have been people from all walks of life that have been wrestling fans, and from deans of colleges that approach me at airports, to lawyers, doctors, musicians, entertainers, that are all wrestling fans and avid wrestling fans, and appreciate it for what it is. And I hope that increases that appreciation with people across all walks of life, because I really feel like historically, wrestling has always been the redheaded stepchild of entertainment. In spite of the fact that it has literally been a cultural mainstay in American pop culture from the 1900s on, and has consistently and consecutively drawn larger live audiences on a regular basis than basically just about anything else.
No, it 100% has been, and I also want to let you know, as a fan, no matter how many microphones I talk into and whatever shows, as a fan, appreciate what you guys do, and that's why I was looking forward to seeing this, because watching these shows and really getting an inside look at everything that happens to get into that ring and perform at the level that these athletes perform at. It's a lot of appreciation for the art. And I do want to ask you too, because I asked you like how much hesitation was there to let these cameras come in and kind of capture what's really going on. Um, when were you first approached? Like, how long has this process been up until now? Where again, wrestlers available now on Netflix. When was this first brought up to you?
It's been a couple year process. It started literally a 1 in a million chance. My partners came in, bought into the company, and one of them, he and his wife, apparently, from what I understand, went to school with an executive from BBC America that she had come back into town for a wedding. That kind of started the conversation, and then it just kind of built from there. And it took probably 2.5 years of hey, this might happen. Hey, they've come and they're going to shoot a teaser reel. Hey, they want to come back and do another one to really pitch it to Netflix. Hey, Netflix might sign on. Hey, they did sign on. Hey, they're showing up. Hey, they're here. you know then it's like, well, when's it going to air? When, oh, it'll air, probably at the beginning of the next year, 2023. Oh, it might be at the end of May, the end of March. Well, it might be in April. Well, it might be in May. Hey, it's airing in October. Oh, well, they've moved it up. It's in September. Oh my God, it's here. And so today's kind of like it's Christmas. You
Finally,
know what I
right?
mean? Yeah, it's Christmas. Yeah, we finally get to unwrap the packages sitting under the tree. So, you know,
And congratulations. Yeah, because it's out now. Go check it out on Netflix. And for you personally, one thing I want to ask you that kind of fascinates me is, you
mhm.
know, kind of changing your position of being a performer, executive to now kind of running the show. And of course, watching the show, you'll get to see some of the things that you have to handle. Probably one of the bigger things that you do have to handle, I would assume, is managing personalities, where everyone wants to be in the main event. Everyone
Yeah,
wants to be the champ. Managing personalities is a very difficult thing. I know you've been asked about CM Punk and everything going on in AEW, but for
and he's
you,
a great
just in
guy. You know what I mean? He's a great guy. Just all these people are very they you gotta manage them. You gotta know how to drive the bus.
what's the so speaking of that's my that'll be my question to you. Like, what I
Mm.
guess what's the biggest key in driving the bus and making sure everybody's cool to do the show?
Uh, Trust and respect are absolute. The talent have to trust you, and they have to respect you and your vision and your direction. That it's going to benefit. Ultimately, it's going to benefit them individually, but through benefiting them individually, it's going to benefit everyone. And when a talent has to take a step back for the betterment and for the bigger picture, they got to really trust in you that there's going to be opportunities and chances for them then to go ahead and take another step forward when the time is right. And I hope that I engender that trust and respect in the talent, because without it, there's no way you can operate. There's just no way.
Al Snow joining us here on the Sporting Tribune today. Wrestlers out now on Netflix. Before we close this out with more Disney questions, I do want to ask you about the wrestling business today. You kind of brought up how it's been looked at as the redheaded stepchild and lowbrow entertainment.
Yeah,
I've been fortunate enough this year to be able to travel to a lot of shows, to Puerto Rico, to LA, to WrestleManias, all these big events. It
yeah,
just seems that kind of every form of entertainment is like a roller coaster. Everything's up and
sure.
down. Just seems the business is very hot. Earlier this week, the WWE is not owned by Vince McMahon as a majority owner. I didn't think
Yeah.
that would ever be possible. To be honest, I
I
thought the
didn't
man
either.
was going to outlive me.
Yeah.
And you see some of these sales and AEW and Wembley, just all of this stuff. Like, where do you see how the business is today? Where do you see it?
I think it's great, and the business, is cyclical. I mean, it goes up and it goes down. And even back when we had regional territories, one territory would get hot and another would drop off. And, it's pretty normal, and pretty atypical. But now we're at a place and a time, where we've come back around where, the mainstream, the general audience is starting to again take more of a prominent interest in wrestling, I think. And, we've got to strike while the iron's hot. As an art, as an industry, we've got to pull together and give that audience what they want to see. They want to, people just want to escape when it comes right down to it. People they got their families, and they got the bills, and especially these days. I mean, for God's sakes, it costs so much to live, and all they want to do is when they go somewhere to a movie or to a wrestling event or anything, they want to be able to forget all about that trouble. They want to forget that by buying the tickets that they did to go to the event, that now they're going to probably have to pay the power bill late. And they want to be able to believe in who those wrestlers are and why they're out there in that ring doing it. That the wins and losses really have a consequence, that they really matter, that there's real drama hinging on whether or not the person that you identify with wins tonight, And that's where that real emotion comes from. It allows you, while you're in there, to go, yeah, I know I got to pay my phone bill late, but you know what? I'll get to it, because I'm having fun. And I endeavor to try to allow an audience to do that as much as possible.
I like the way that you said endeavor, by the way. Very well put with everything going on. Before we get out of here, two questions.
Sure.
Two quick ones. This one's super important because I need you to think very, very hard on this one. When it
Yeah.
comes to just Disney parks,
Yes.
just Disney parks, what's your favorite ride?
I'd have to say Space Mountain. I love that ride. One time we were out in Anaheim, and Mick Foley and Scotty Too Hottie and I, after the show took off and went over to Disney, we got in and we had a guest relations. It totally by chance. You know what I mean?
Was the park closed or open? Or was it
No,
about to close?
it was open, and we only had a couple hours to ride as much as we could ride, and we had this wonderful guest relations lady, because literally we go up and we try to, hey, we're with WWE, and because apparently one of the fireworks guys that was working at the event that we did in Anaheim at the pond worked for Disney. Said, I'll hook you guys up. So we went over. They weren't going to listen. So they call the guest relations people, right? The people that take like Michael Jackson and all that around.
Yeah. With the fancy jackets.
We're standing there, right? And they're still not like, we're not getting over it at all. Then this kid comes running up out of nowhere, and he's like, oh my God, your house, no. Oh, he was freaking out. And he goes, I just got hit by a car, but I saw you, your house, no. And he just like goes running off. And just as the guest relations people walk up and see us, and then they go, oh, well, come on in. And, so they assumed that we were now big celebrities because this kid was freaking out about me. And took us on all the rides. And one of the rides that we went on, I think it was like 2, maybe 3 times, was Space Mountain.
Now hold on, they had you guys waiting like outside by like the ticket information and stuff, or like, oh, that sounds like a commotion waiting to happen. Shout out to that kid who's now someone's father.
Yeah, that kid got me over, man, and it got me got us into Disney for free. So
there it is. So Space Mountain, Mick Foley, Scotty Too Hottie, and Al Snow. Wow, that is legendary. All right. We'll close out with this one then. You have someone walking into your house for the first time, and you have to impress them. You have to impress them, and you can only show them one thing in your house. Could be the yard, could be the garage, could be in the house or the backyard. What are you showing them?
Probably my collection of comic book statues and artwork that I have here in the office.
Which one's one that you hold most dearly to your heart?
I have I've got a piece of it's a pencil artwork. I don't know if I can really show it. Hold on, I'll show you. And it's of the Joker, and it I bought it, and it was, I'll see if you can see it. Can you see that?
Yes, yeah. Oh my!
And what it is the artist took it and made it. It was a cover of Time magazine, where they had introduced 3D technology into movies, and they had that was a cover from Time magazine, and then you put the Joker's face in, and all the audience like they've been Joker gassed. So I think that's pretty awesome. So
That's amazing. Well, listen, I don't know how many media and more interviews you got to do on your press run. I'm thankful to be a part of it, and I think I'm the
oh,
only
thank
one that
you.
got a mini tour of the house, Al. So,
You did, yes.
so thank you, House
Thank
Note,
you.
joining us, the legend. Again, go check out Wrestlers 7-part docu series on Netflix. Binge it, watch it weekly, whatever you need to do, but go watch it. OVW is legendary, and I'm looking forward to watching this show as I make my way back to the West Coast. But from Disney World, Al, we'll talk to you
Yes.
soon, my friend.
All right. Thank you. Have a blast down there.